I'm glad you mentioned HubSpot because if I'm referring people to a company that does case studies well, it is HubSpot. And anybody who's interested in looking at a company that does case studies the proper way, definitely check out HubSpot. One thing you mentioned earlier that I wanted to pick up on was the idea of extracting as much value from a case study as possible. When I help companies with podcasts, one of the things I tell them is that it's not just an interview, it's fodder for blog posts and e-guides and tutorials and thought leadership pieces for LinkedIn and Twitter updates. There's so much good stuff in talking to customers. How much marketing and sales assets or collateral can you extract from a case study interview? Do you do that yourself? Do you work with marketing teams to say, listen, they told us some amazing stuff. It would make for a great series of tutorial videos or thought leadership videos. Talk to me about that process.
There's a lot that we plan for. One of those internal pieces of alignment is determining where do we want to use these and what campaigns do we want to support. And that should necessarily inform not only the story we tell, but how we tell it. We use a pretty simple framework internally that's like brain dead simple: nibble, bite, snack, meal. How do we take this core asset and break it down into collateral that meets the informational appetites and needs of people at different stages of the buyer's journey? And so we will plan from the outset, this is the audience that we're trying to speak to with this, and these are the channels we're trying to reach them on. And because of that, here's what we need. We need a one sheet version of this for sales to do cold outreach with. We need some pull quotes turned into social collateral to support some of the social campaigns we're going to do and the customer of the month campaigns. We need some high level slide decks so that we can empower the sales team to speak through this or even incorporate it into a live event presentation. We need this deep dive video piece. We're going to let that live as more of a webinar type of asset. So we're going to structure the story a little differently to capture that. And that's going to live in one section as well. We want to go in with intention. We don't want to leave that to chance, because if you don't ask a certain question, if you don't account for a particular use case when you're capturing it, it's very hard to manufacture that later. And then beyond that, opportunities, as you mentioned, start to present themselves when you start to see some of the activity that the company is now partaking in. Or what I'm really passionate about is as you accumulate more stories. Now you're in the territory where you can do things like a highlight reel. Take the best little sound bites from multiple different interviews about different subjects. Maybe it's all them speaking to one pain. Maybe it's all them speaking to one outcome. Maybe it's all them speaking to one particular feature, what you do. Put that together. Now you have proof in numbers. Something we also like, and it's very powerful for sales, we call it a nuclear deck. It's a shock and awe asset where you take little bits of multiple stories and visually present them as a deck of one sheets, a deck of pull quotes. You pull that all together, organize it meaningfully for your space, whether that's by industry or opportunity, what have you. And again, it's a way of showing there is a lot of proof here. There is a lot of substantiating evidence that you can get what you need from us.